So let me ask you, being a media buying expert,
Yeah.
where do you think things are going with media buying in 2024?
Yeah, 45% of all ad spending on digital will be Google and Meta. That's gonna be hundreds of billions of dollars. That Google Meta duopoly is down. In 2022, it was like 49% of all digital ad buying was going to those 2 properties. You have from an ad spending perspective, you have competition from networks. Everything's a network. Uber is an ad network. Instacart is an ad network. Walmart is an ad network, Home Depot, etcetera. So the competition is coming from connected television, Hulu, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, Netflix, etcetera, Roku, Tubi, Pluto. It's coming from digital out of home, even though that's a very small percentage of the overall landscape, but it does very well for us. Digital audio, Pandora and Spotify, and then these sort of retail media networks that are becoming very important to consumer packaged goods products.
This is interesting because things are evolving to be very different than they were just a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah. You have the rise of the walled garden. We're squarely in there, so much so that there's antitrust tendencies by the US government to ensure that walled gardens don't get higher. So one of the things that's important for us is we focus in on the fundamentals of advertising. Like, there are apps like Be Real, fine. I'm sure some people are on Be Real and other apps. What we're really interested in is executing on the fundamentals, because when you have billions of people or hundreds of millions of people in the United States and billions around the world on 5 different properties, it's really important to get really strong at Google and Meta and TikTok and LinkedIn and X, etcetera. So that's where we focus our efforts. The fundamentals always win. That's our general belief system.
So, what kind of role do you think AI is going to have in advertising and media buying?
Yeah, it's helping creative people be more creative. It's helping relatively uncreative people, because I'm a data and numbers guy, be more creative. I have ideas, I just don't know how to express them. So I go to Midjourney and I find ways to express them. I think it's an accelerant tool. As Scott Galloway calls it, it's the Ozempic for corporations. You can get more work done with fewer people. And you're seeing that at large corporations where you can replace customer service people with AI. I don't know how good that's going to be. That seems a little weird to me, but I think internally for our agency, what we're doing is we're able to retain more revenue by using like an AI copywriting bot, which sounds crazy, but let me also be very clear that copywriting and creative work is not our main work. Over 99% of our revenue comes from media buying, not creative development. But when we do creative development, our clients need volume. The big trend in advertising, the one thing that is relevant, going back to one of your earlier questions, and this also pertains to AI, is the fact that the algorithms are becoming more opaque. It's harder to see into the algorithm. So when you buy ads on Meta, for example, you're doing broad targeting, age, gender, and location. And we're seeing success for a few years now with a creative testing framework where you create 5 ads a month. You disassemble them so you have 15 different elements, and then you reassemble them as 125 possible ad variations, but you're not running ads on 125. What you're actually doing is doing control and variable testing powered by Meta's algorithm to find which one ad out of the 125 is your best. So the goal here is you train Meta over time to find who your best customers are. So when you look at Google, you're uploading up to 15 different headlines and 4 descriptions, and and Google will dynamically assemble the paid search ad based on what it thinks will perform the best. When you look at TikTok, it has a similar function with its smart performance campaigns, where you give it broad targeting parameters and the algorithm does the work for you. So I think with AI from as a creativity tool, you have the ability to churn out and test and understand or accelerate the development of many different creative views and executions to power the algorithm, so the algorithm on these platforms becomes smarter about who your best customers are.
Yeah, makes sense. I have to ask about TikTok.
Yeah.
How do you think about TikTok in terms of how it's evolving, how it's growing, market share relative to the other players? Are people actually getting good results running campaigns on TikTok?
Yeah, we create a lot of content for TikTok organically. We take the best content and we pump it out as ads on Meta and TikTok. I think that's a really strong strategy. In terms of running actual advertising campaigns on TikTok, we are seeing good results for the campaigns we're running. I think a lot of it depends on creativity and the how good your creative ultimately is. TikTok ads are very much a waterfall, right? At the top, you do some awareness building, then in the middle, you do remarketing to the people who watched a certain volume of your video, 50% of your video, or followed your page, etc. Then at the bottom of the funnel, you're remarketing to people who took action at the top in the middle. It's more of a traditional waterfall process, and we are seeing good performance.
Do you think TikTok continues to grow and win more market share in terms of ad dollars?
Yes. I think TikTok is phenomenal. It's primed, and I'll tell you why, because consumers are there, because the TikTok algorithm is strong. It's not the best. I think Meta's algorithm is the absolute best. But with TikTok as a place to consume media, it's 24/7 primetime programming customized to every individual on the app. And so as a business, I want my messages to be delivered to the people who I want to reach. And I see it working because I've been in the business for 20 years and I've seen people who I haven't talked to in 15 years reach out to me because they saw something that I put up on TikTok. So it's working. I like it.
And does it also work for B2B?
Yeah. When I talk about that, I'm talking about B2B. I'm talking
Yeah.
about, marketing for ourselves. We do some B2C on it as well, also selling tickets, getting people interested in, like, niche content programming outside of TikTok as an advertising campaign. I have a strong team of very senior people who are running those campaigns. I'm not as familiar with the intricacies of them. I just know that we keep renewing on TikTok. But what I am paying attention to very closely is our advertising and our social content posting on TikTok. And I see the leads that come in, and these are people who I really am happy to get to reconnect with because it's been so long. And a lot of that is fueled through TikTok.
I thought you were gonna say it's because you were dancing and rapping on TikTok.
100%. 100%. You should see what I do on Saturday nights on a hip hop hip the hip hop scene in Los Angeles.
It's wild, it's wild.